What's up, Cumberland County College? It is the Media Club and their podcast again, the Media Monsters Podcast, Episode 2. I am your host, Ryan Ellis, and as always, I am joined by my co-host,
Tony Maltese.
And we are here, like always, to talk about everything school and everything media related. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, what's going on in school this week, Tony, in the coming weeks?
All right, so we have the University Center open house. That's November 14th.
Okay. University Center open house, November 14th, 4 o'clock to 7 p.m.
If you don't know where that building is, that's right behind the library.
Yep. It is the Shirley and Bernard Brown University Center offers complete degree programs right here at our campus. And you can go there and you can learn some more information at the open house. Admission cost is free, of course. So what are we at next?
We also have Oliver the Musical. That'll be November 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
The lovely Charles Dickens novel turned into a play. I've seen it before. I haven't seen this one, but I've definitely seen them practicing for the last 2 months.
Yeah, I've heard them walking by. I've heard them practicing.
And when are the dates for that, Tone?
Dates are November 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
And what about the times?
Times range from 8 p.m. 8 p.m. on the 15th, 16th, 17th, and okay. So those are the times for those days. And on the 17th is 2 p.m. Sorry. November 16th is at 8 p.m. And then the 18th is at 3 p.m.
Cool. You can get your tickets online on the school's website under events. There is a link for it, or you can go inside the Fine Arts Building, get them at the box office. Box office is open on Tuesdays, 12 to 4, Wednesdays, 1 to 5, Thursdays, 12 to 4, and 90 minutes before showtime, you can get the tickets as well. Admission cost is anywhere from $5 to $15.
Yep. And then the next one we have is the Campus Holiday Concert, which is December 2nd at 3 p.m.
Okay, and that says that the Cumberland's Concert Choir, Jazz Band, and Wind Symphony are presenting an enjoyable afternoon of seasonal repertoire. And the admission cost for that one is free as well. There are, let's see. Yep, it's definitely in the Fine Arts Building. So that will be Sunday, December 2nd. And that will jumpstart the winter holiday season, even though sometimes it feels like nowadays it starts at Halloween, but
yeah,
we'll stay festive.
Sometimes things start too early these days. That's how I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already started seeing... I started seeing commercials for Thanksgiving in the beginning of October. Like ShopRite stuff.
Reasonable.
Yeah. It was mostly like ShopRite, like come and get your Thanksgiving turkey now before they sell out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I walked into Walmart yesterday.
And you saw a bunch of Christmas stuff.
I saw a giant Christmas tree right next to the door.
Oh, yeah. I feel like normally I don't really start doing anything Christmassy until after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it just seems like every year Christmas is just getting closer and closer to September.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, eventually it's just all year is just going to be Christmas.
Christmas stuff.
It's Christmas 24/7.
All right. So speaking of that type of season, we have the Winter Student Musical Recital.
Oh, yeah?
On December 6th at 7 p.m.
Okay, why don't you explain that a little bit?
So you can come and enjoy the talents of Cumberland County's colleges, music students as they perform compositions, of the variety of composers.
And I'm guessing this event is free as well.
It is free.
No tickets will be issued, so you guys can just come to the Fine Arts Building and check them out. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Reservations are suggested though,
Okay.
as an FYI. So that's if you really want to go. But if you just want to pop in, you could probably just pop in.
All right. So that's as much stuff we got going on for school going into December. We'll try to hold off on giving you more events because most of them are Christmas events, and we don't want to contradict ourselves.
Yeah.
We'll wait
and
till it gets
there might
closer.
be more events that come out between
exactly.
now
I'm sure.
and later. So.
All right, so what's the topic today, Tony? Last time we talked about video games, so I would assume the next logical step is
Movies.
Movies.
Yes.
Films. Any film buffs out there? I'm sure they want to stick around. We're going to talk about some interesting things. We got Avengers on the list. We have Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp's crazy booty. And maybe some Mary Poppins and some other stuff.
Yep.
All right. So where do we want to start off, Tone?
Let's start off with, Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean. Might as well.
All right. So I'll just admit this now, get it out of the way. I've never seen the first Pirates of the Caribbean, the second Pirates of the Caribbean. Never seen the third one. Whatever the most recent one, I saw the last 20 minutes of it. And
even though this is my second time hearing you say this.
I know. It
still
doesn't
like
it doesn't like the
I'm like,
blow is
how?
just as hard, right? You're like, why? I
And-
know I probably should have watched it
yeah, you
between
gotta
last
have to
time
at
and
least
this
watch
time.
the first one.
Maybe one day, but I guess we won't be seeing a new one with him in it.
You know what we should do?
What should we do?
A movie night one night.
Movie night? Media Club movie night?
Media Club
Ooh,
movie night.
we should definitely do that.
Yeah, that would sound like a really good idea.
I feel like it would just be me like, all right, these are the movies you have to see to be considered an actual movie buff. If you haven't seen Godfather, if you haven't seen yada,
I've
yada,
seen
yada.
Part of Godfather.
Of course you have. Of course you haven't seen all of Godfather 1 and 2. And even the terrible third one. But don't get me started on Godfather.
Oh gosh. Sounds like you have a lot to say about that one.
Oh, it's probably one of my favorite films.
Well, that's good. It's your favorite.
What's your favorite film?
I don't know why, but I've always liked the Transformers series.
That is
but I
not what I
liked-
thought you were going to
I
say.
liked the first, 3 Transformer movies. The
With
newer
Shia
ones-
LaBeouf.
Yeah, the newer ones aren't really the greatest. After they came out with, which one was it? Age
ones
of
with-
Extinction.
What are the ones that have Mark Wahlberg in it? Marky Mark.
That starts on the 4th one.
I saw the first one with Marky Mark in the theater. And I just remember it was one of the greatest movie goings I went to because me and my friends just tore that movie apart in the theater because it was literally just like us three and maybe 4 other people who I'm pretty sure were also tearing this movie apart because we were all collectively laughing at all the terrible parts. And it's funny because I'm kind of showing my age a little bit, but Shia LaBeouf was on a show on Disney Channel. Do you remember?
Mhm.
Do you know what it was called?
Don't remember. How long has that been? I haven't
A long
watched.
time. Dude, it was called
been, like-
Even Stevens.
Yes.
And it was starring Shia LaBeouf and a bunch of other no-name people. And he was like the dork nerd who was always getting in trouble. And he had like the older brother who was a sports jock and his sister who was a do-good, straight-A's, know-it-all. That's how
Yeah.
he got his start. And then I remember I was really excited about the Transformers movies. I liked the first Transformers.
Shia LaBeouf came out on he was in the first one, second one, and third one.
That's it?
Yeah.
And was the ones with Mark Wahlberg, I know. Sorry, I keep saying that. The ones with Mark Wahlberg, are they like a reboot? Were they supposed to be, or was it just like a
No,
continuation?
It was a continuation. So Sam Witwicky is no longer in the picture, technically.
Did he
After
die?
the 4th. I have no idea, to be
They
honest.
just like wrote him off. He's just like he's
Yeah.
out there, just not
Yeah,
in
he just
there.
he's out there
in the
you don't know
world,
where.
but okay, I got it.
I guess
They're
they
not going to kill
kinda
off his
cut it
character
off.
just in case they somehow attach him to another film in the future.
But yeah. But Josh Den Hamill. Sorry if I completely butchered that last name. He is still playing in those movies, in the Transformer movies.
Do you know who's in the Transformers? What was the last one that came out? Transformers: The Last Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sir Anthony Hopkins. And yes, I always say Sir Anthony Hopkins. Give the knight his due. Sir Anthony Hopkins was attached to that movie, and that was why I went to go see it in the theater. I think that was the first one, or no, that was the second one they made with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, Anthony Hopkins, he's a really great actor. He wouldn't put his name onto something that's garbage. And apparently, I was wrong because IMDb gives that movie a 5. That's pretty low.
Yeah, so the person that plays for Transformers 4, which is Age of Extinction, as the main character is, let's see.
That's the one
Mark
that came out
Wahlberg.
before The Last Night.
This is no, Last Night is the fourth one.
So Age of Extinction came out after The Last Night. Are you sure?
Age of Extinction.
Because Age of Extinction came out 2014.
Age of Extinction came out after Dark Side of the Moon, which is
Okay.
Transformers 3.
Okay, so
You have
Age of Extinction is 4, and The Last Night. Yeah, because The Last Night
Last
came out
Night-
in 2017.
yeah.
That's the most recent one.
Yep.
And this one got 5.2. The one before it, Extinction, had 5.7.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they made a new one.
I think there's another one coming out. Not now, but at some point.
So it's funny because we went from
Talking
I
about
don't know
going
how
to
we got
talk
from
about Johnny
Pirates
Depp.
of
But
but back to
back to that real quick.
his crazy ass.
He apparently is no longer part of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
What did he do?
He was played as, well, Johnny Depp was Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Basically after some sexual or domestic abuse
that's right.
allegations.
Yeah, sexual.
Um,
Yeah, and it's Disney.
And financial
But it's
problems
weird
and
because
everything else like that.
isn't Harry Potter Disney? Or no? Let me look that up. See, I was under the impression that in this day and age, you get accused of something like that, you're pretty much ostracized. Because he's in this new Harry Potter, or I'm sorry, I keep calling it Harry Potter, the Fantastic Beasts movie. But maybe because they had already filmed it.
I don't know.
Fantastic Beasts looks good,
Yeah.
I mean, the last one, you'll notice if you guys listen
It
to
is
me a lot,
not
I am a
Disney.
huge.
Harry Potter is not Disney.
It's not Disney.
No,
Okay.
it's Warner Bros.
Warner Brothers. Oh,
Yes.
that makes sense. Yeah, Disney. I can understand Disney not wanting to ruin their public face. That's why they got rid of James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy. But I guess Warner Brothers, they don't care. But this movie was probably also filmed way before this stuff came out. Does it say when the allegations came out? I mean, they're not big because obviously they're not. I'm not saying Johnny Depp's a Louis C.K. or something like that, or a Harvey Weinstein. He's obviously not being accused of anything like that. But there are accusations.
I guess the accusations came out back in 2016 to 2017, somewhere around there.
He says that he was falsely accused, obviously.
Yes.
But this movie is coming out, and Johnny Depp is a weird guy, and that's probably why he agreed to do this movie, because in Fantastic Beast he plays Grindelwald,
Yeah.
who is kind of like a Voldemort. I don't know if he's as bad because Voldemort was basically Wizard Hitler.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Grindelwald is still a bad guy. Johnny Depp's just weird. He spent. Do you know who Hunter S. Thompson is?
Not off the top of my head.
Hunter S. Thompson was a journalist back in the 70s, but
Okay.
he is also known for doing a lot of drugs, a lot of
Wait,
acid
didn't
and chirpy
wasn't
stuff.
there a movie about him
Yeah, there's actually two movies.
too? And
There's one.
Johnny Depp plays as him, right?
Yeah, Johnny Depp plays him. That's the crazy one. But there is another one. I cannot remember it right now. But Bill Murray actually played him in one.
Okay.
But I had seen the one with Johnny Depp is called Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And it also has Benicio del Toro, who's another great actor. But Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is by far one of the most bugged out movies I have ever seen in my life. And Hunter S. Thompson, what he was known for was a thing called gonzo journalism. I always forget. It was basically like new journalism, which he called gonzo journalism, but it was matching with counterculture, that was brewing in the country in the 60s and 70s. Um, he has a book called Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and it's serialized in the Rolling Stone. So he was a really, really good writer. But the reason I bring him up is because Johnny Depp played this guy, and he is kind of a method actor. So he lived with Hunter S. Thompson for like 6 months,
Yeah.
and he got this guy perfectly. All his little quirks and his mannerisms, he plays this guy like he is Hunter S. Thompson. But like I said, Hunter S. Thompson was a really weird guy, and he did a lot of drugs. And what Johnny Depp did was when Hunter S. Thompson died, in his will, he wanted to be shot into space. He wanted to be cremated and shot into space.
Yeah.
So Johnny Depp bought his ashes and,
Shot him
him into space, like Elon Musk did to that car. He shot Hunter S. Thompson into space, which is absolutely hilarious. But that just shows you what kind of like person Johnny Depp is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he would go on and like do something like that. He would waste the money to shoot a man into space. That's really weird.
Oh yeah.
He's a weird guy. I think that Johnny Depp has just kind of embraced his weirdness, and he's also has like slowly become a little part of every character he's played.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
he's played so many weird characters.
He's definitely going to be missed though as Jack Sparrow. If you're a diehard Pirates of the Caribbean fan.
Which I'm guessing you are.
I like Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'm not a diehard, fan of it though either.
So what's the first one about?
Oh my god, it's been so long since
But
I've
it's
watched
good?
it.
Because it's
good.
just weird because it's like the only ride at Disney to spawn its own movie and not vice versa. Because, you go to Universal Studios and it's like, oh, the Men in Black ride, Harry Potter, all this other stuff. The Spider-Man ride. I don't even know if they still have the Spider-Man ride. It's been so long since I've been to Universal Studios, but this was like, oh, we have a ride that's so amazing and it's about pirates that we're going to make an entire film about it. And hey, we'll put Johnny Depp's crazy behind in it.
So the first one is The Curse of the Black Pearl. And that came out in 2003 of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
It sounds spooky. Was it like a scary movie for like younger kids? Because I mean, that movie came out when I was a kid.
Kind
So
of.
I could imagine if I had
guess.
watched it as a kid, I probably would have got more enjoyment out of it than if I were to try to watch it now.
Like, it's not really... It's kind of like a comedy horror, if you know what I mean. Like, it's funny at parts because of, how Jack Sparrow is and the way
His
Johnny
character
Depp
itself.
played him.
He's
and
kind of like
everything else back.
flamboyant, isn't he? A little
Yeah,
bit.
he's like...
And he's like,
He's
but
very
he's like real
free,
dangerous.
and he gives off that picture of being very
Like
free
bohemian
and that
lifestyle.
kind of stuff. Yeah. So like, someone filling in those shoes as playing Jack Sparrow is going to be a very interesting scene. Let's put it that way.
Speaking of bohemian, I actually forgot to mention this last time we talked. I say last time we talked because we actually recorded a podcast last week,
But you
But
couldn't hear anything.
but yeah, there were some technical issues, so we're redoing it, and we're still trying to figure out a little format for this thing. So we
Yep.
apologize. But last time I forgot to mention the movie Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh yes.
Are you a Queen fan? Do you listen to that type of music? I haven't
Not
so far
really.
I've only heard you listen to dubstep or whatever you were listening to
I
earlier.
like.
So I haven't
So
really been able to pin it. I thought maybe like, oh well, he doesn't listen to rap. Maybe he listens to classical, old school rock stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'll bring up Bohemian Rhapsody, and you're like,
I like Metallica, AC/DC.
good, good.
You know, I like those.
TNT,
It's dynamite. Yep.
TNT.
Like I like those type of people. I also like Disturbed.
Wah. So
And I like.
but you know Queen.
I like.
You
yeah,
obviously like.
I know.
Doom, doom,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I remember that song, and like
Yeah.
that's the one song that kind of sticks.
So
to me.
I had an
So
aunt.
it's like.
I had an aunt who like got a lot of the music I listened to because I listen to everything, but like all the classical rock music I listened to, I got from her, and I loved Queen growing up. So when I saw that they were making a movie called Bohemian Rhapsody, I really want to see it. I know it's out now, so I'll probably go see a matinee.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this before. Is like when I go to the theater, I kind of want to
Yeah.
see spectacle, like
And you don't
Avengers or
wanna-
something. I don't want to,
yeah.
but
You
I
don't wanna
really
go
like
and
Queen.
watch some chick flick or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
like this seems like it's Queen, and there's gonna be a lot of concert, big show stuff, and I really like Queen,
yeah.
so I'm probably
But
gonna
that's
check it
kind of
out.
like the movie they did on Michael Jackson and that kind of stuff. What it's gonna be is probably more of a
Actually,
documentary-ish.
Do you know the Doors,
The Doors.
the band, the Doors, Jim
Yep.
Morrison? There's a really great movie
about
them. Yes,
Yeah.
it's starring Val Kilmer. I don't know if you should look up Val Kilmer. You might recognize him, but it's crazy to think that this guy once played Jim Morrison because Jim Morrison always wore like his shirt opened up. He was real skinny and lengthy, had long hair, and Val Kilmer now is like clearly overweight, and it's just crazy to think that he played Jim Morrison. But that movie, one of my favorite movies, to be honest. It's made by Oliver Stone, great filmmaker. He did JFK. He's done a lot of things. Oh, I keep forgetting what the actor's name is.
Oh, okay, that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking
You,
about.
Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that guy, now you know who Jim Morrison is, what he looks like? Look up Jim Morrison,
That's what I'm doing.
and then you're going to say, what? That guy once played Jim Morrison? That's impossible.
Yeah, there's no way he could have played that guy.
Yeah, if you know who Jim Morrison is, you'll know that. And if you know who Val Kilmer is, you know that he's gone
If
off
not,
the
just
deep
look
end.
up the two people
Yeah.
and then compare them side by side.
And then if you
You'll be
knew who
like,
those
how-
people are when we
how did
mentioned
he
that, you
pull
were
that off?
probably like, yes, what? How did that happen? I mean, I know he had a heart attack recently or he had something. But yeah, the guy who's playing Freddie Mercury is Rami Malek. I think that's how you say his
Okay.
name. Yeah, he's a really good actor. He was in a show called Mr. Robot about hacking, about a bunch of hackers and stuff. And he's done a lot of other things. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I really like Queen's music. They're
Oh, yeah.
great.
Queen, they do some good music. I don't listen to Queen all the time though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But they were the band where like Freddie Mercury's talking to the producers or his manager, and they're like, "Oh, so this is the song we've been writing. So we play this really cool rock solo. We got this guy playing the guitar, and then after that, this is when the orchestral part comes in." And then they're looking at him like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have opera singers here, and then we're gonna sing like in a cappella over this part." And they're like, "Yeah, that doesn't make any sense." And they're like, "Oh, well, you just don't know what you're talking about." And they'd fire him, and then like hire someone new. And then who would have let
They
them
should
do
have
it?
at least probably listened to it first.
Yeah, it's funny because Freddie Mercury was amazing. It's a shame that he died.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, I do listen to I also do listen to some rap and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Pop. I'm not too big of a fan of it, so I don't listen to it all the time.
I see-
Like, there's select songs that I'll listen to.
I listen to a lot of old school rap, like Wu-Tang Clan,
Yeah.
Nas, the Fugees.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really like a lot of new age rap. I like Childish Gambino, because I like Donald Glover, because I liked Donald Glover when he was a comedian, when he was still doing stand up. Um, yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of heavy metal, so a lot of the bands I probably listen to probably have no idea who they are. Like a
But yeah.
Muir or Thursday.
Anyways, so
What other movies?
anything else about Bohemian Rhapsody? Since we got thrown onto music there for a bit.
No, it's
Alright.
if you're interested in Queen, I suggest going to see it because Rami Malek, he's a good actor, and I'm sure he's gonna nail Freddie Mercury in
Oh yeah, probably.
in his performance.
All right. So let's see. Going back to Disney stuff, we have the Grinch movie that is currently out.
Grinch,
The
you're a
Grinch.
mean one.
Mr. Grinch.
What is it? You really are a heel. I don't even know what that means.
Something like that.
So, the Grinch. I love the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. I loved that movie as a kid. I remember like our teachers would show it on half days of school. Like, oh, no classes today, so we're just gonna sit in this classroom. The guys will go get lunch and eat it in here, and I'll just put on The Price is Right, and then I'll put on The Grinch. That was our day. I had a teacher, no lie. She had two movies she'd always show because I feel like it was the only movie she owned. She had The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan when she's like 10 years old, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey.
And is that all she ever played?
That's all she ever played. Like I would no lie in 5th grade probably watched The Parent Trap like a dozen times because it was like, oh, half day of school, I'll just put on The Parent Trap.
I don't feel like
you
teaching.
know what I mean?
Screw this.
Yeah, it's because like when we would have half days, like when we get like when they would have parent teacher conferences and stuff like that, you'd have like a half day of school, and there would be really no class, or instead of switching classes, you were just gonna be in homeroom all day. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're gonna have homeroom, then study hall, and then homeroom, and then you're gone.
Yeah.
So on those days, like we had a teacher that just would always just put on The Parent Trap, and it was so funny. So, the other sequel I kind of wanted to talk about was, I guess it is a sequel because I looked it up. The Mary Poppins Returns.
Yes.
Starring Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
It's gonna be a good one.
Like,
just watch the trailer.
The way you reacted when you heard that I had never seen
the
first Pirates movie. When you said you didn't really know what Hamilton was, I was like, wow. Like in my head, I'm like, how do you not know what Hamilton is? It's like one of the biggest plays right now.
See, we watched. I grew up with my two cousins, and so we watched more so growing up. I watched more so of Disney Channel because that's whatever they threw on. And if I wasn't doing that, I was on the computer playing the video game.
Right.
Like I was.
Well, the only reason I said that is because like Hamilton, it's like a play about Alexander Hamilton, but it's written like as rap songs. That's why it was like real popular for a while. I mean, it still is. They just had it in Philly, and I'm pretty sure tickets were like $300, $400.
Oh yeah, I can believe
That's the only reason I didn't go because I was also trying to see the Book of Mormon by the guys who make South Park, and that was also $300 a ticket. So there was no way I was seeing that.
Interesting too. But
the Mary Poppins Returns movie actually looks really good. I thought it was going to be a remake, but apparently it's a sequel. The premise of the movie is that it's like she comes back to help the kids, like the Banks family.
But yeah, it's not a remake because if you watch the trailer for it, there are completely different scenes than what there is in the.
But it's gonna hit a lot of those same beats because I know in the original they go to that cartoon world with the whole supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Like, I saw them in that world.
Chimney, chim,
and obviously, like, I don't think Lin-Manuel Miranda is a chimney sweep, a chimneyist,
a chimney sweep,
a chimness. He's a chimmer. One of them chimneys. Chimneys. So.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. At first, I was like, "Oh, really? I don't want to see a remake of Mary Poppins."
And I told him, yeah, that's not a remake. That's
I was like, "Oh, really?
yeah,
It's a
that's the whole
sequel?
new.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's completely different."
that's exactly.
And it's
his
funny
reaction.
because, like,
he was like, "Wait, what?"
the funniest thing about Mary Poppins, though, is she's like a demigod, or she's magic. Obviously, she's magic. But what further cements the idea that she's magic is that she's like coming back to help the kids that she helped, however so many years ago. Because it's still set in, the
Was it, like, in
Depression era. Yeah, it's like Depression
1980s-ish?
era. No. It's
Maybe
Depression
earlier?
era London. So that
Yeah.
would be like the 20s, 30s,
Something like that.
before World War II. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah.
So, but
No,
No.
yeah, before World War II, after World War One, yeah.
yeah. So like at the end of the first movie, she's like, "Goodbye, have fun, love each other," and then she just puts up her umbrella in the air and floats away, never to be seen again until part 2, which is about to come back. But she's
Yeah.
the same age, so obviously she's some type of ageless being detached from the laws of time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Are you
Definitely.
putting headphones on?
Yeah, hold on.
in your
I'm trying to
headphones?
find this part where, because I was watching a video earlier,
Right.
and it was about.
If you're wondering, hold on.
Mary
If you're
Poppins.
wondering, Tony took off his giant headphones and then he put earbuds in and then put his headphones back on. So, were you looking for us, Tony?
It's about Mary Poppins and how she, how the kids see her as a magical person,
Right.
and
Or is this like a film theory or a fan theory?
it's kind of like it. The name of the thing is, or the video is, things only adults notice about Mary Poppins.
Right.
And one of those things being that she has to be like a witch of some sort.
Oh, she's definitely magic. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I mean, she pulls all those stuff out of her bag and she's
yeah.
like, she can fly. Dude, I mean, if you can fly, you're magic. Like, but can she fly, or is it her umbrella gives her the ability? Is it
Well,
like a Thor's
remember,
hammer type thing going on?
In the first movie, she goes ahead and blows all the other nannies that were coming to go ahead and, like sign up or.
Yeah, it's
get
coming for the
registered.
job, yeah.
Yeah, for the job, and blows them away with wind. And so that tells me right there that it can't be necessarily the umbrella that's magical that allows her to fly. She could technically
Maybe she's from the
fly.
Wizarding World. Yo, what if Harry Potter and Mary Poppins take place in the same universe?
Whoa, that would be really weird.
Mind blown. She's actually just an American wizard living in London, right? Or wait, was
Harry
Mary?
Potter was in
No, was Mary Poppins? Was she English?
English, yes.
Was she? Or
It's taking place
yeah,
in
okay.
England.
I know, but I mean, Dick Van Dyke was in that movie. And
He's not English, but
he's
he
not
tried.
English.
He tried to be English.
Did he? Did he? I can't
tried to
see.
do
That's
that
a movie
accent.
I have to watch as an adult, because I bet you if I rewatched it and you like hear his voice, you're like, okay, him doing this terrible accent does not hold up. Like, I bet you British people watch it and like,
The funny thing is
all right, Governor, here we go, supercalifragilistic.
the person that played
expialidocious.
Mary Poppins.
Uh-huh.
She's British,
Right?
and she never said a thing about it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
she
funny.
never said.
It's
a thing
funny
about
because it's
him-
like, do you
his,
say something to Dick Van Dyke, who's Dick Van Dyke?
Well,
you
he
know,
apologized
do you
to Great Britain and over that way, London and all of them.
really? That's
yeah,
so
for
funny,
doing
dude.
that.
That is
terrible of a
hilarious because
thing. And I was
there's
like,
so
"Holy
many.
crap."
I've seen videos of actors who like videos where it's like 10 actors who completely destroyed their accents. I mean, there's a Robin Hood movie. I can't remember what's it called. I'm pretty sure it's just Robin Hood, but it's got Kevin Costner in it. If you don't know, Kevin Costner plays Superman's dad in the new Superman movies.
Yeah.
Okay. And Christian Slater is in this movie.
Okay.
So Kevin Costner's playing Robin Hood, okay?
Okay. That's gonna
And
be interesting. By
everyone
itself.
in this movie is doing an English accent. Christian Slater is an American actor, and he's doing an English accent. That's pretty good. Not Robin Hood, though.
No, I
Good
never
old Kevin
seen ads.
Costner is doing an American accent in a movie called Robin Hood, where he's playing Robin Hood surrounded by other people doing English accents. So apparently, they started filming that movie, and he was doing an English accent. But then the actor was like, or the director was like, this is terrible. Just do your normal voice. Like, his accent was so bad that they were like, we'll just have a movie where Robin Hood's an American. Because what Kevin
I always
Costner is
thought
doing is way
Robin
worse.
Hood was American though.
No way.
No?
Robin Hood take place in like Robin Hood was supposed to be like a noble. He was part of the
Oh,
aristocrat.
Robin Hood. I was thinking. Sorry, I was thinking DC comic of Robin from.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah, I don't know why my mind went to a totally different person.
You heard Superman
Hood,
and you
yes.
just
I'm
lost
like,
us. Went right to
yes.
DC Universe. You're like, oh yeah, Robin. Oh yeah, you mean? I thought he was like a kid of
American.
circus folk and stuff. And wasn't this take place in the 90s? You're like, oh Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Oh, okay,
Got
there
you.
we go.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll provide a link in the description since this is going up on YouTube for the thing where I found things that
oh,
only
10 things that adults or things
would
only
notice
adults
about
would notice.
Mary Poppins.
I love those types of movies because you're like, I mean, I
only 8
remember
minutes
when
long.
this might blow your mind. I remember when I found out that the Lion King is basically Macbeth, like Shakespeare's Macbeth. I was like, mind blown. It's like the uncle kills the king, and then the son has to get, and then the uncle marries the queen, and then the son has to come back and get revenge for his father. It's like Disney was like, they didn't even try there. They're like, oh, let's just make Macbeth with talking animals.
Oh
and
yeah,
kids will
more
eat this
kid-friendly
up.
one.
I mean, I loved The Lion King. You know what I mean? But when I heard that, I could not stop laughing because it just blew my mind. I'm like, how many other movies of my childhood are just Shakespeare plays and stuff
apparently
like that?
a lot of bloopers in The Lion King.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of bloopers.
Or like
a lot of Disney movies.
A lot of hidden things that you don't see, and some of them you might think someone's mind was in the gutter.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think in the
Those are the
I'm
funniest
pretty
ones to
sure in the
find.
Little Mermaid there's just penises everywhere.
There probably is.
No, I'm pretty almost positive that's one of the theories. I don't know if I want to look that up on my computer.
Yeah, that's not
Penises in Little Mermaid.
Considering we're still on the East Coast.
Yeah, right. I'll end up on some list, but
Next thing
just
we'll
take my word
know-
for it and Google it.
Security will be coming in.
Like, oh, there. Oh, hey guys, you guys got here fast.
But yeah, so we'll provide a link in the description for that, for the Mary Poppins thing,
Yes, we
for the
will.
first movie.
And we'll probably throw in some trailers, links to the trailers of the other movies we talked about.
But
Like
yeah,
The Godfather.
that's a very interesting one that you don't really notice until you really think about it. Like if you've seen it as a kid and you haven't seen it ever since, and then you go back and watch it today, and then you go ahead and sit down and watch like this video, you'll see so many things that you didn't necessarily realize when you were a kid.
Right. Because you're a kid and you're watching it a different way.
You think it's funny and well, awesome and everything else like that.
Oh, how dude, Star Wars, like in the prequel movies.
Yep.
Not the original trilogy, not the the prequel movies. Like when the Emperor gets into power, and it's because of Jar Jar Binks. And when you're a kid, you're not thinking about space politics, but that entire trilogy is basically just space politics. Like the Phantom Menace starts off with like an embargo on ships. You know what I mean? And I remember watching that as a kid. I'm like, oh, there's these aliens in space and they're having problems with these other aliens. And now the Jedi are going to show up. But as an adult, you're like, oh, this is like a trade war. These people don't want to trade with this federation. So they're putting up a blockade. And now they're sending ambassadors, in quotes, you mean Jedi masters with swords.
I think your phone's vibrating.
I think my phone's vibrating too. It is my cousin.
He can wait.
He can wait because I'm talking about Star Wars and no one interrupts Star Wars talk. But like my point was like the biggest thing as an adult watching those movies is in the third one when Jar Jar Binks gets in front of the entire Space Senate and convinces the galaxy to like abandon democracy like for the time being so they can continue fighting this war. And I saw that as a kid, I'm like as a kid, I'm like, oh, okay, Jar Jar Binks just convinced everyone to like help the Emperor get into power. But as an adult, my mind takes it way further. Like, oh, he convinced them to literally abandon democracy and
Oh,
like
yeah.
install a dictator. And I
Yep.
was like, wow, Star Wars, you're pretty deep. You're not just a space fantasy movie about fish people and magic.
Yeah, and isn't there if I'm correct, there's a theory that Jar Jar Binks,
Darth Jar Jar.
yes, is a like a master of the Sith.
Yeah, he's like a
Basically.
Sith Lord.
Sith
Or
Lord.
so I can
something
go
like
down
that.
that rabbit hole. I'm not
And
going
he,
to.
you know,
the-
higher than the Emperor.
Basically,
that they
like the
put in
theory
power.
was saying that like the Emperor, that Jar Jar Binks was secretly the one, like in control.
mastermind,
Yeah,
yeah.
like like Darth Sidious, the Emperor, was doing everything at his behest. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like George Lucas said once in an interview, or not even an interview, I think it's in like the Phantom Menace DVD commentary.
Yeah.
He's like talking to his writers and he's saying, what you got to understand about this story is that it's all going to build around Jar Jar Binks. Now, he could have been joking with them because Jar Jar Binks is a goofy character.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I personally think is that he was like, okay, Jar Jar Binks is going to secretly be a Darth Lord or a Dark Lord or whatever, a Sith Lord. And that will freak people out, like plot twist, Darth Jar Jar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think his writers heard that, and after the reception of the reception of Jar Jar Binks, they were just like, yeah, nah, George, you gotta change all of that. We can't have, because I mean, think about it. If it was Darth Jar Jar, like that means the end fight scene with Yoda and the Emperor, it would have just been two animated characters fighting. It would have been Yoda, who was digitally animated, and Darth Jar Jar.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been terrible. And they were probably, George Martin was like, yeah, I got this crazy idea. Listen, ready? Plot twist. Jar Jar Binks is actually a Sith Lord and he's actually in control of the Emperor. And his writers probably looked at him was like, no, that is dumb. Change it.
Yeah, but that would also, you wouldn't have the movies that are out now today if they had changed it to be that way though too. If that's
I'm
the
hoping
actual case.
Darth Jar Jar is out there somewhere ready to make his appearance. That Snoke is actually Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Confirmed right here, folks. Theory confirmed. All right, so we're starting to rant about movies and film theories, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. Everyone, once again, I'd like to thank you for listening. This has been the Media Monsters Podcast, Episode 2. I've been your host, Ryan Ellis, and I'm with my co-host,
Tony Maltese.
and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening. Take care.